Send in the red shirts.
Well, we had another Discovery episode with a pretty damn long title, Magic to Make the Sanest Man Go Mad, which I'm going to hereby refer to as the sanest man, and again, be done with it. First off, let me apologize. Once again, I'm out of town on business. I'm at an Airbnb in, where am I? In Little Falls, New Jersey. I'm on my iPhone, and I could wait till I get home to my office with the nice cameras and lighting, but hey, I just want to do this while it's fresh. We saw the episode just this past Sunday. All right, so about the episode. So we meet Harcourt Fenton Mudd. He's a character from the original series. I remember him clearly from The Trouble with Tribbles. Not a favorite character of mine. I think he's a fan favorite, though. And I have to say, as played by Rainn Wilson, I did find him interesting. I did like what Rainn did with the character. And this episode overall was a direct lift from the spirit of the original series, I think, or not even just the original series, but Star Trek in general. From what I'm seeing on Facebook and YouTube and other places, that this episode came closest to feeling like Star Trek. And that might be true. Having said that, I was overall disappointed with the episode, and I'll tell you why. First reason is the story is old hat. I've seen this before. You know the episode I'm going to quote. Star Trek Next Generation, Cause and Effect, which is an excellent episode. And that's what this felt like. I've talked to people who reported that there were, right during the production of this show, of the series, they brought in a bunch of super fans to advise them on shows or stories that they should stay away from in case those stories felt too much like stories we'd seen before in TNG, Voyager, DS9, so have you. Well, I don't know if that's really true that symposium actually took place, because this episode had all the DNA of cause and effect. I kind of got bored with it because it's like I've seen this before. The other issue I had with it was that it was full of plot holes. I mean, let's start off. 5 minutes in, they come across this space creature and they beam it into the cargo bay. Don't they have containment? Well, they do have containment fields on this ship. We see Mudd use them. In what world or what universe does it make sense to beam a creature into your cargo bay without any kind of containment protocol? And as you can see, they should have done that because a lot of crew people ended up being killed by the guy who walked off out of the thing's mouth. Which, okay, whatever. It was a cool scene, but it's like, that doesn't make any sense. Why would you just bring this thing? You don't know what this thing is capable of. You don't know what it might do. You don't know what stress it's under, and you're gonna just beam it right into the cargo bay and expose yourself to any type of pathogen or its own anger or sense of fight or flight. It makes no sense. Other thing that made no sense is, sure, throughout Star Trek, we've all had a good laugh at Star Trek security. It sucks. Here, when Mudd approaches the bridge or walks onto the bridge, there's no security at all for a good, minute or so. That made no sense. It just seemed like there were plenty of opportunities for the crew of the Discovery to stop Mudd in his tracks. I know he gained control of the computer because he'd gone through the loop number of times and he figured it out. That's a little dicey, but I can go with it. They make it clear that that's how he was able to escape from the Klingon prison, because somehow he acquired the crystal, which he could reset time every 30 minutes, and he eventually learned along the way, which is an interesting concept, but we've seen it before. I remember seeing it in, what was that movie with Tom Cruise? Edge of Tomorrow? Same concept. Again, nothing new, but all right, whatever. I just find it hard to believe that this starship, there's no provision for the captain being able to lock out key components of the computer system or of the defense system that Mudd was able to take over. Another thing that didn't make sense to me is, why did the ship have to be blown up to reset the timeline? It was made clear, unless I missed something, I'm saying that over and over again. Unless I missed something, and I watched this thing twice, it was clear to me that the crystal, which Mike, I'm affectionately calling Commander Burnham. Well, she's not a commander anymore, but I'm affectionately calling her Mike, my namesake, if you will. She says that she supposes, and it seems like a far-fetched supposition, that maybe some four-dimensional race or alien race, I guess they were four-dimensional because they had learned to control time, had programmed it or something or other, or had perfected it so that it could reset time upon programming it to reset time. So I need to understand, why was it necessary for the ship to blow up to reset it? Second question, in the final loop, when Burnham approaches Mudd and offers herself up to the Klingon saying she's more valuable than the ship, Mudd then says, oh, you're right, okay, great. Then Burnham commits suicide by ingesting one of those purple globes and killing herself. So then all of a sudden the ship explodes. Well, how did that happen? When did Mudd have time to explode the ship? We didn't see him set the countdown, or we didn't see him set the self-destruct. But somehow he was able to make the ship explode again to reset the loop. But when did that happen? How did that happen at that point? Because he wasn't prepared to explode the ship. He was prepared to hand over Burnham. And again, the question still remains, why did the ship even need to be exploded? That's what the crystal thing on his wrist was for. So that didn't make any sense to me at all. I'm not even going to ask how Mudd was able to get an entire spacecraft into the belly or the innards of a sea whale, or whatever that thing was, Gallamander, whatever that thing, Gallagander. I just ride with that. Okay. It made for a badass entrance when he walks out of its mouth. However ridiculous that is, that he wasn't digested. I'm sure this thing has acidic enzymes, but okay, whatever, that's fine. Just way too many plot holes. A story, it was pure Trek, and I applaud the fact that the producers gave us a story that kind of had the tone of what we're used to as Star Trek fans, but ultimately it fell flat to me. It was too many plot holes, and the actual plot itself was not that original. We did see a little bit of character development with Michael Burnham, and Ash Tyler. And for those people who are claiming or suggesting that Ash might actually be the albino Klingon Vok, it's a very interesting possibility. But if that's the case, boy, then Ash is he's the best actor there is. He's really deep undercover, because it looks like he's falling in love with Michael Burnham, as is Michael Burnham falling in love with him. And you know what I really liked? It was just one single line, the line that Stamets recounts to Mike. He tells her that you told me that you've never been in love. And I don't know, that was an interesting line. I really want them to explore that. I really would prefer that she come to terms with that before she enters into a relationship with Ash. But that was pretty cool. Again, I applaud the producers, because it looks like a lot of people are now starting to say, oh, well, this is the Trek that I remember. And in the next episode, it looks like they're going to get off the ship. I saw one poster or a one person comment on a YouTube Trek video that they're happy to see that the crew is going to get off the ship, which I am too. I'm looking forward to the next episode. So this episode and last week's episode, I can't really give them my full thumbs up. I like the effort that the producers are putting into it, though. They tried to give us something a little quirky. The payoff with Stella, who looks way too young to be the same woman that we meet in the original series when Kirk comes around in 10 years. She looks way too young. But, okay, again, I have to say whatever. Nice try. You gave it a go, producers, and I do respect you for that. I just wish I hope the next time you think about those plot holes, you tie those things up. Yeah, just give the script the once over before you start to go into production. One other thing, I don't mind this new version of Trek. It's darker, it's a lot more realistic, but seeing people make out in the hallways out of uniform, a party where you have 20th century Wyclef Jean rap music, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but I'm going to overlook that. Just polish up those scripts a little bit more. All right, anyway, I'm looking forward to next week. I wonder how many episodes are left. I'll have to look into that, but I'm still on board. I'm still on board. I think it's one of the best dramas on TV. And oh, here's another thing. It actually, CBS All Access actually worked this week, so there's a plus. All right, that's all for me. I will see you again next week. Thanks.